pursuing basketball pretty heavily. So I let coaches know pretty early on.
Wow. So you had a fastball, huh? Really fast.
I did.
15.
I did.
15.
That was about all I had was a fastball. I had a fastball and a changeup.
That'll work. 2 perfect games as well. Unbelievable. And I didn't know this. You went to the NCAA tournament 5 times, and you won a national championship. Do you still have your ring?
I did not win a national championship. I actually came in second.
Okay, it says it on here.
Yeah.
Against Purdue, right? You guys lost against Purdue?
Yeah, so we lost to Purdue in 1999, but it was very cool to be there, especially coming from a little small town.
Of course.
And being on that stage. So
I have a whole bunch of quotes from your teammates, your friends, and a whole bunch of people, but I'm going to read those probably in the last 15 minutes. I want you to mainly talk about your motivational speaking. First of all, how did you get into motivational speaking? How did that happen?
Okay. Am I on the air right now?
Yes, you are. Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So, hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be here. Yeah, so, one of my, as you know, I grew up playing sports. I was very involved in athletics. And one of the things that most people didn't know about me was that I actually really struggled in school. And it was a real challenge for me. And so I would be that kid that would come in and sit in the back of the class, be petrified to be called on. And so the idea of public speaking was horrifying. But, sports has brought me so many opportunities and experiences in my life that I'm just so grateful for having. And one of those was I was given opportunities to share my story and to impact and influence, our young people, but also parents, adults, coaches. And now I'm up and speaking in businesses and corporate spaces. But it all kind of started with my induction in 2017 when I was inducted into the National High School Hall of Fame.
Wow.
I was asked a few days after I was told that I was being inducted. The president of the association reached out to me and said, Missy, we'd really like for you to give the induction speech that evening in Providence, Rhode Island. And I was horrified. I was like, here I am being inducted with Olympic gold medalists, World Series champions, Bobby Richardson. His best friend was Mickey Mantle. Lisa Fernandez is an Olympic gold medalist for softball, one of the best softball pitchers to ever play the game. And they come to me, right, and ask me to give this induction speech. And it's one of these moments in my life where, where fear can come in and take over and push you away from an opportunity that is placed right in front of you. And this was one of those moments where the fear that I had of speaking in front of 1,000 people, these superstars across the country, I wanted to go and say no in this moment. And I ended up, I was in an emotional state. I was upset that I was even asked because this person saw potential in me that I didn't see in myself, asking me to step out of my comfort zone and give this talk. And I've learned not to respond to the emails and the social medias and, all these platforms when we're in that, kind of emotional state. So I stepped away and I went to I call them my resilience team, which is, my family and my close friends, those people that I trust. And I said, I was just asked to give this induction speech in Providence, Rhode Island. I am absolutely petrified to speak in front of a group of people, and I don't want to do it. And they looked at me and they said, Missy, everything that you've done in your life didn't happen without fear, sometimes insecurity, sometimes that lack of confidence. The difference with you is that you've always stepped up to the plate and did it anyway. And I really kind of thought about that. And, when it came to sports, when it came to the things that I was really good at, I was willing to show up and put my best foot forward. And this was something completely different. And at the time, I just stepped away from college coaching, and I was thinking about all the things that I was teaching my kids and when I'm teaching young people. And I thought about, I am constantly asking them to step out of the comfort zone and do things that are risky, do things where the possibility is failure, where there could be embarrassment involved. And here's my moment. The stage is different. So the stage was not with a basketball in my hand running out, warming up for a game. The stage was an actual stage with a mic in front of me. And they said, Miss, this is an opportunity for you to get up there, try something different, step out of your comfort zone and see what you're made of. And so I listened to my resilience team, and I went back and I said yes to this opportunity. I got up on stage on July 2nd of 2017, gave an 11-minute talk.
Nice.
And just because I was willing to step into my fear and did something that scared me half to death, it opened up doors for me, and now I'm, as you know, flying around the country, being able to impact, influence, and inspire mainly our young people. But again, I'm moving up into that corporate space. I just spoke actually out in San Diego with over 3,000 gynecological oncologists.
Unbelievable.
Talk about another horrifying moment where you feel that imposter syndrome and you're just scared to be there. But you know what? I got up there and did it anyway and walked off stage to a standing ovation. So
of course,
all these little, moments of fear, I've just learned how to step into them. And basically that Hall of Fame speech is what led me to having the career that I have now, where I'm still able to, influence and impact and inspire our young people to reach their fullest potential. So that's kind of how I got into speaking, to be honest with you.
You're flying all over the place. You're going to be in the Malone, Plattsburgh area, I think the 20th, July 20th.
Yeah, so September 16th through the 20th. I'm hoping to do a little tour specifically in that Plattsburgh area, maybe a 2.5 hour radius around there. So if people are listening and you hear my message and some of the things that I'll be sharing with you in this next hour, if you feel like that would be great for your students, your student athletes, me coming into a school, or even your business, go to my website at themissywest.com, fill out the inquiry form, and I really hope to spend that whole week, going in and out of schools, September 16th through the 20th in that area, and just being able to uplift and motivate our young people as they get back in the swing of things at school.
I don't think you're going to have a problem with that, and I have a pretty good Facebook following. I'll put something on Facebook as well about it.
Great.
So I'm going to ask you some of these questions, and then I want you to talk about because I haven't heard your excellent speech from what I hear from everyone, and I want you to talk about that after I ask some of these questions, if you don't mind.
Sure. Okay.
Talk about what age you started playing basketball.
Yeah, gosh. So I have a picture of me. I really think I literally just came out of the womb and the basketball was placed in my hand.
Wow.
I have this picture of, I don't even think I could sit up on my own yet, but I had this basketball in my hand. So I really started from looking back, I probably was in 5th or 6th grade where I started to play organized basketball. Now, I was around sports literally from the moment that I was born because, as most people know, my father, he was the high school football coach, the swim coach, he coached golf, he was the assistant softball coach. He was very involved, and so he always brought his little girl to all of his practices. And it was really at that point, I just loved it. I loved being around my dad. He inspired me and motivated me every single day, and it was probably 5th grade where I really started to, like I said, get in some organized, some teams. I actually came to Plattsburgh, played in the Air Force Base. I used to do that all the time, playing some these tournaments at that time. And,
did you play against the men too? Some good players.
Yeah,
too.
I was playing on boys teams. It was mainly me and a bunch of boys. There might have been a couple teams where there was one other girl, but mainly it was just me playing on the boys teams. Yeah.
Okay. Following that, who are your top 3 people inspirations, and not in order, but your top 3?
This is so hard.
I know. If you can't answer it, don't worry about it.
No, it's okay. There's so many people, but the top people that always come to my mind is obviously my mom and my dad. My mom was my greatest cheerleader. She didn't have a whole bunch of knowledge in sports, but what she taught me is I've been given opportunities. I've earned opportunities through my sports participation and the work that I put in. And what we need to do when we have these moments, when we have these opportunities, when we have these platforms, is to always be kind, to give back to one another, to be supportive, to be a great teammate, that it's not about me. It was always about my team. And she's the one that really kind of taught me about empathy and compassion and love and giving back to others. Where my father, he was a competitor through and through. So he taught me, to stand up for myself. He taught me how to play with the boys and beat the boys and be competitive and not back down. And, he's always said, Missy, you can be as good as you want to be. But the main thing is you got to be willing to put in the work. Even in the midst of failure, even when you lose in competition, are you willing to be resilient, get back up and keep moving forward? Because it's only in those moments where you're going to become the best version of yourself. And so it was my dad that really kind of was that person that inspired me through that competitive edge. And of course I had two brothers that were, they taught me many lessons. I think they taught me resilience through and through when we battled over like the remote control for the TV or whatever it was. Like we were constantly going at each other. We were always outside playing football, baseball, wiffle, you name it, and we're always going at one another. So they certainly taught me how to be competitive and resilient. But I'll tell you, in my current life, I'm 46 years old, live in Tampa, Florida, have a wonderful life. And I really, I say this not to be cocky, but I've really earned everything that I have in my life now. I've worked really, really hard. But the person that really inspires me and motivates me now is my wife, Colleen.
That's so Colleen, nice. I love hearing that.
She played at UConn, and
really?
She played with some of the best athletes in the world, Rebecca Lobo, Jen Rosati, and her work ethic and what she's overcome by playing at UConn. And she was the first walk-on to receive a full athletic scholarship from Coach Gina Ariama. Like, she's known in the books for that, but her work ethic, the woman never stops pushing me to be the best person that I can be and the best version of myself. She pushes me to learn every single day and to wake up and put my best foot forward. So I would say those three people, my mom, my dad, and Colleen, are probably my top people right now. So
are your parents still alive? Hopefully they are.
They are, and today is their 51st anniversary.
Is there a chance they're listening?
Yes.
Hopefully they're listening.
I think they are. I called them this morning, let them know that I was going to be on the show. So I know that they were trying to look. So Mom and Dad, if you're there, I love you, and happy anniversary.
Wow. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. West. Tom Lacey here. I'm going to lead right into it because your wife played at UConn. So I'm going to ask you this question. You already know. I think you know what it is already. Paige Beckers or Caitlin Clark, who's better? And why?
Yeah, so I love that you're asking this question, and please don't be offended by my response.
Don't worry.
I'm always curious when people ask who's better or this versus this, because I think it puts this idea that we always need to be better than somebody else. And part of my whole talk is working really hard to not compare ourselves to others.
I love that.
What I think Paige and Caitlin, I think they're both two very different players. Each player, they show up and give everything that they have to give every single day. So it's not Paige is better than Caitlin or Caitlin is better than Paige. It's both of them have done amazing things for women's sports, for sports in general. They've had so much on their shoulders, and yet every day they show up with class, they give back, they work hard, they don't allow I call them outer critics and the negative people and those that try to pin them against one another, or same with Angel Reese. They don't hold on to all of that. They just said, you know what, every single day I need to show up, put my best foot forward, and be the best version of myself. And that's what I love about both of them.
Who would your wife pick?
What's that?
Who would your wife pick? being at UConn.
It's her. To be honest with you, her answer is the same exact one as
Nice. Okay.
mine. They're both, like I said, they're very different players. Obviously, Caitlin Clark has that long range. She's amazing at seeing the floor, making great assists.
Yes.
Paige Bucher she has that jump shot that is really hard to beat. I mean, but they both are amazing in their own ways. And I really think, and I want to say this because if there's parents out there or coaches out there, it's not about who's better. Mm-hmm. It's about, are we showing up as an individual each day as our best self? We need to be competing against ourselves. Mm-hmm. and really blocking out the naysayers, the outer critics, the people that are, pitting us against one another. So, it's not about that. We're all in this together. We're all trying to build up women's basketball. We're all trying to get better as individuals. And if we focus on that and not about who's better here and this, that, and the other, then all of us collectively will grow and get better. And I think Paige and Caitlin have done a phenomenal job of staying focused on what's truly important, which is getting better on the basketball court and really and showing up and giving back to their communities and signing all the autographs, all of those things, without getting involved in all of the mess that our society wants to throw them in.
Mm-hmm. That is such a nice answer. You kind of put me in my place a little bit too, but and the thing about both of them is they are so competitive, and you're right. They sign autographs all the time, and I don't know if you know this, but the most All-Star votes ever was by I forget her name. Really good player. Oh gosh, she had the most votes ever prior to Caitlin, and it was 90,000 votes. And Caitlin already has 700,000 votes. So that's something else. They have. I love watching women's basketball even more than men's because, in my opinion, Missy, they're more fundamentally sound. Their passes are unbelievable. They're not obviously as athletic, but it's fun watching the games. It really is. Any game that's on, I'm watching it, and the games are so crowded now. I mean, gosh, it's unbelievable. And have you ever read the book on Breanna Stewart? I feel so bad for that woman, and she might be the GOAT right now. I don't know. She ranks right up there.
Breanna Stewart she's an exceptional player, and she's also, again, athletics is great, but being a good human, I think speaks volumes. Your character, how you show up, how you behave, how you respond to negativity and failure and hard moments. And these women just show tremendous class and are constantly fighting the battle. And the crazy part is I know everyone's waking up to women's sports. It's always been around.
I know it.
You think of the Dawn Staleys and the Lisa Leslies and the Jen Rosati's, and I mean, I could name a million athletes. It's just now people are actually starting to pay attention, thanks to people like, those that have been fighting the fights, the Sue Birds, the Breanna Stewart, all of them, like the Serena Williams. They've all been fighting for this to say, look at who we are. Like, we have something to watch, and it's exciting. It's fun. It's competitive. We're all athletes out there, and it's like now the world's waking up to that, and it's really, really an exciting
it sure is
time, you know. So, and I know one of your other questions too, and I want to just answer it while we're talking about Caitlin Clark and Paige Bucher. But one of the questions that you wrote to me was do you think Caitlin Clark should be on the Olympic team?
Yes, yeah, and
no one in this world has the right to judge or to put their two cents. It's up to the USA committee, and they know what's best. They've been doing this for years. The one thing that I will say that I love about Caitlin Clark, and I share this with so many struggling athletes or a person that had something thrown at them that was unexpected, or they had to shift to a different position, they were cut from a team, they were fired from a job, or something kind of drastic and sudden happened to them, And I always bring up the quote that Caitlin Clark said to her coach when she didn't make the Olympic team. And that is, Coach, they just woke a monster.
Oh.
And I love that, because I will tell you, 90% of people, when you're cut, when a bad moment happens, when someone says that you can't, you're not good enough, you shouldn't, they pack it up and they quit. They don't do what's hard. And the difference between the Caitlin Clarks and the Michael Jordans and all of these people, Steph Curry's and the, you know, all the difference is that when they get knocked down, it is just fuel to throw on their fire, to come back harder, to work harder, to be more motivated. And I say to anybody listening that has been knocked down, that has been cut from a team, that has been fired from a job, that has been through a divorce, whatever it is, you know, using that mantra. I'm big into, you know, when we're facing that inner critic and these outer critics, like, what can we do to keep going and moving forward? Use Caitlin Clark's mantra, like, they just woke a monster. You know, I have a kid that I'm working with right now, and she just tore her ACL, and she's devastated. She's going off to college, and you know, she wanted to well, she will be playing basketball, but she's got to go through this recovery time, and you know, it's so hard. I've been through injury myself. I was sidelined for 2.5 years with 3 knee surgeries. I know what that's like, and you can either pack it up and quit and sit there and feel sorry for yourself, and certainly have moments of that, right, where you're just really down and you say these things like, why is this happening to me? But you can't stay there. Not if you want to be great. Not if you want to really find your full potential. You have to be willing to say, you know what? This injury, they just woke a monster. I'm going to fight back harder. I'm going to put in more energy. I'm going to do more PT. I'm going to, you know, I can't use my lower body, but I'm going to get in the weight room and I'm going to do things to get my upper body nice and strong. And I think we have a tendency, you know, I meet so many people where they find the excuse. They put the blame. They give a million reasons why they can't do and recover from something really, really hard. And the choice is ours. And I love that, you know, that was Caitlin's response. You know, they just woke a monster. So although she didn't make it this year, she's not over.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to be busting her butt every single day, and she's going to try out this in 4 years from now.
Yep.
And who knows what's going to happen, and the committee is going to make the best decision for our country to put us in the best position to win. And right now, you know, they made the decision that they did, and that's okay. Sometimes we need to be pushed back or say no. I work with another fellow speaker, Anne-Marie. Her name is Anne-Marie Anderson. I highly encourage you to check her out and look her out. She's an Emmy Award-winning sports broadcaster, ESPN, the whole thing, has done Olympics, all the stuff. And she talks about audacity. And one of the things that she says is, you know, when you hear the word no, all that means is not yet.
I love that. You know what you're doing? Not yet. You know what you're doing to me right now? You're pumping me up so much. You really are.
Let's go.
You know what? I don't know if you know this, but I have a disability called neurosarcoidosis. I can't run anymore. But I'm going to do the New York City Marathon on a hand cycle for the first 22 miles. Somehow, Missy, I'm going to try to jog the last 4 when I get to Central Park. It's probably when all the winners will be coming in, all the you know, Algerians, Kenyans, Americans, whoever. Yep. And I might be on TV, you know, but so I'm doing it. It's not till November. I've been training hard for it, so. I know exactly what you're saying, and I really don't like talking about myself. I did have a mishap, though. I took a really hard fall on a really inexpensive one. Do you know Jillian McConey? She is such an inspiration to me. I
do not, but I'll write her name down and look her up.
Yeah, she's going to let me borrow her hand cycle, which goes for $10,000, and the one I bought was $450. So that's why, you know, I broke 2 ribs, was knocked out, stitches, everything. But I'm ready to go again, and you really are pumping me up. I'm not kidding you.
Well, here's the thing with that. So I did the New York City Marathon in 2018. First, I want to wish you the best of luck. I love your resiliency. I love that you're bouncing back. Like, there's several moments in that what you just shared with us where you could have said, you know what, I'm not going to do this. But you said you can't run, so you're going to ride. I love that you're not making, a reason why this, I'm just going to pack it up and quit. I'm going to do whatever I can to get across that finish line, whatever it looks like, whatever that time was. And it's so interesting because 6 months prior to doing the New York City Marathon for me, in 2018, I was diagnosed with a really rare autoimmune disease called primary biliary cholangitis. And it's a liver disease. And basically, if you Google it online at the time, it said I had about 7 years left to live, and it was just, here I am, and I'm an Iron Man. I work out every day. I try to eat healthy, all this stuff, and then boom, it's like you're really, really sick. And in that moment, I was devastated. Yes, everything is fine, and I'm back to normal. I mean, I will have this disease for the rest of my life. And
same here.
Have to be on medication, monitor my diet and everything. But yeah, so my point of sharing this with you is 6 months from that moment, I had registered myself for the marathon, and when I left the doctor's office, I remember looking to Colleen and said, I registered for this race, and I'm going to do everything in my power to cross that finish line on November 4th, 2018. And so both, Colleen's like she's my teammate, my life teammate. She's like, all right, let's go to work. And so we changed our diets. We had to change our workouts. We did everything necessary. And, I crossed the finish line, and my time it wasn't a great time.
Don't worry about the time.
Matter.
Yeah.
Because when I put that medal over my head, when I crossed the line, to me, I remember holding up the medal and thinking to myself, my life is not over. This is just a part of my story.
Did Colleen do it as well?
She did. She's done several marathons. She's done the Boston Marathon, and she's a champ. She's done 3 Ironmans. I've done 2 Ironmans. She's done many marathons and half Ironmans and all the things. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Congratulations
Missy.
to you. I wish you the best of luck. I think it's awesome. And,
thank you for that.
For you, it's just one pedal stroke at a time. Like, that's it. Just stay focused on that one pedal stroke and look around, because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people cheering you on. And I think we get focused on ourselves, and I think when we start to get tired and exhausted, the most important thing that we can do is look up and start reading the signs and just appreciating, like, I'm out here doing the New York City Marathon, which so many people would love to do. And here I am out here doing this, and all these people are cheering us on, and, like, how amazing is that? And allow that to keep pushing you forward. When you get up and you run those last 4 miles in through Central Park and you're almost done, look at the people, right, and stay focused on the moment. It's so amazing.
Central
I'm
Park,
really excited for you.
Isn't Central Park, when you get there, that is so much fun. That really was.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The spirit of the race is amazing, and certainly Central Park is pretty special.
Oh yeah, they don't care what place you're in. They just cheer you on. So.
That's right. That's right.
Have you ever met Caitlin Clark or Paige Beckers? Have you met them?
I have not. I haven't even seen Caitlin play as of yet, but it's certainly going to happen. Colleen just went and saw Caitlin. She's actually saw her first WNBA game up in Connecticut. Our good friend Jen Rosati was the president of the Connecticut Sun, so we were able to go up there, she was able to go up there and see Caitlin's first game. And I think Colleen has met Paige. We're actually going. I've been to a lot of their games, and I've seen Paige many times, but I've never actually met her. We're going up in November to see Coach Ariyama and Coach Daly's 40th. I think is it their 40th season of coaching together, something like that. And so we're going to go and celebrate that with them, and so maybe I'll meet Paige then. But I mean, it's just. When I think about my life and the people that I'm around all the time, it's, when I do my speaking, we come from small towns, but we're small and mighty, and we can do some amazing, incredible people. And no time in my early career did I ever think that I would be around these superstars, some of them being my friends, and in these environments where these people are just amazing and have worked really hard to be in the spaces that they're in, and I'm in that space with them. It's pretty remarkable. I certainly don't take it for granted. So
I know. You know who my favorite player was prior to Caitlin was Sue Bird, and I have a feeling.
Oh yeah.
If I ever hung out with her, it would be so much fun. I think she would have me cracking up. She is such a funny person.
Yes, she is. I know Sue pretty well, and
do you really? I bet she's fun, huh?
No, Sue. She is. She's a good person. She's done a lot for the game, and again, she's another one of those people that has really kind of went out of her way to show up for others. So yeah, she's a good person. She's
my second favorite basketball player ever. You're going to be surprised who my favorite is. It's Russell Westbrook. But, mainly because he has so much heart. You know, that's why I like him so much. Did you know Ken Kring well? Did you know him at all, or?
Yes, of course I know Ken Kring.
What has he meant to that Malone community? I feel so bad he's passed away. I loved him too, and I know the Malone people are listening to this, and I'm sure they want to hear your answer to this, but we can't forget him.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's really done a lot for certainly the Malone community. You know, I've been away for many, many years now, 25 years, where I've kind of lived outside of Malone, but I knew Ken from when I was a young girl. He was always around. He was super supportive. He came to my games. He was actually umpired many of my softball games, but he's always done a lot for the community. I know his daughter really well, Jane Connor. I've actually spoke at her school. She works down at Central Academy down near the Utica area. But he's done a ton for the community, and you know, it was a shock when I heard that he had passed, but you're absolutely right. We cannot forget him, and he has done so much for people like me. He's supported my career. He was always there. And what I remember most about him is that he was always smiling, and he was always laughing. Like, he had that chuckle about him and that smile about him that you just can't forget, right? And he always showed up trying to give back to others. Yeah, and that's what I'll remember most about him.
He was also always very nice to me. Even though I'm from Plattsburgh, he was so nice to me, and I'll never forget him. And let's see. Okay, talk about some of the girls, some of your teammates. Did you play with Dia Dufault at all? Was she?
Yes.
Playing? You guys had a flat out amazing team. How many on your team went Division I? I know Dia did. You did. Isn't one other?
Yes, and then I believe Haley Pupor. She went and played at Division II up in New Hampshire. Kelly Westcott went to Rochester. That was Division III.
Yep.
But yeah, Amber Gopper played at Richmond.
That's right.
Dia Dufo went to Boston University. And then I, of course, went to Duke. But during that time, you know, you had other players like Liz McDougal. You asked about, like, my some of the best players that I played against. First of all, or not the best players, but the biggest competitors. I will say the biggest competitor that I've ever faced is myself. I mean, I'm my biggest competitor, but those the opponents were, you know, Danny Tripany. She went to Providence.
Oh, yeah.
Division I from Messina.
Yep,
Liz McDougal from Ogdensburg. She went to Marist.
Gosh.
Susan Reed was another amazing softball pitcher. She played at Messina. She was the one that really kind of took me under her wing. And, you know, I started playing softball when I was in 7th grade, and I was throwing the ball up over the backstop and worm burners down on the ground. And she was the one. I was a 7th grader. She was a senior. And we played against each other, and she was throwing, you know, 65 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour fastball zooming by us and crushing us. I'm like, man, I want to be like that. And she was the type of human that just said, you know, Missy, I can help you, I can teach you. And she motivated me and just kind of took me under her wing and just said, you can do this. It's going to take some time. And you know, to this day, I think my pitching was a lot of me just watching Susan. Reed do her thing, and then her teaching me kind of along the way. But she's still in my life now. I just spoke. She's the athletic director at Rye High School down near the city. and I spoke to her women's basketball program and hope to do some other speaking opportunities with her. So she's always very, very supportive of, the North Country folk, and she's been certainly there for me when I've needed her. So, yeah, all these people. I mean, there was quite a few during that time when I was coming up.
You know what? Your school reminds me a little bit of Westport, who had two Division I players.
Pratt, yes, all of them, right?
And
Pratt,
Julie Moore.
Julie Moore, yep.
Did you play against Julie ever?
I played with Julie. I played with Erin. Erin, they were on so back in the day, what are we talking about? The early 90s, right? I graduated high school in 96. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but really, geez, gosh. Anyway, so the Lakers, and I know you had Erin on your show, and I wonder if you talked about it, but we started this team called the Lakers. Actually, Erin's coach from Westport started the program, and we would travel to Plattsburgh, and that's where we practiced, and we would go, leave New York State, and we were the Lakers, and we played with Erin and a lot of her teammates from Westport, and a lot of players from the Plattsburgh area. Had a blast, and I don't remember about a lot of those games. I know you had like, what's your best game of this? I don't remember my stats. I don't remember how many points I scored. But what I love about sports is these relationships that we develop through our participation, right? So Erin Pratt and all those girls and girls from Plattsburgh, like, they became such great we had so much fun traveling, staying in the hotels, the pool parties, and the parents would get together, and it was like they would get together and have drinks at night. Like, it was so fun. And then we'd go out in the court and we would show up and do our best that we possibly could. Well, we didn't win all the time. I mean,
with that team,
and that's one thing, like, for me, I remember when I first got on the call, you said, winning's really important. Certainly I was competitive, and winning is important, but I think we get really stuck on this whole idea of winning. Our culture is all about winning, win at all costs, and I think it's such a shame. I think we really need to start as parents, as coaches, and even if there's a young athlete listening in, it's about your effort. And if you go out to practice and you're giving everything that you have to give, and you come off the field or the court or the pool or the mat and you've lost, well, at least you can be proud of yourself for putting in everything you have. And in my opinion, those moments, you are winning. It's a mind shift. It's a mindset. It's like, you know what, maybe I didn't win on the scoreboard, but I got better at this. I got better at X, Y, and Z. My footwork got a little bit better. My shot, I shot a higher percentage at the free throw line. I made better passes. I had less turnovers. Whatever it is, find the little moments of victory and allow those to be wins for you. We always look at the end result, and if that end result is something that we do not like, I hear kids all the time, and it's part of my talk. It's, one, such a failure. You're not a failure. Failure is a part of the winning process. Failure is a part of the growth. Failure is a part of finding and reaching your full potential. You will fail. You will fall flat on your face. People will make fun of you. People will tell you that you can't, or they can never see you doing what you want to do. What do you do with that information? It's in these hard moments where we ultimately find our ability to win and be successful. But I don't think winning is necessarily whatever it says on the scoreboard. I think winning is when you walk off anything, a day at work, a relationship that that you gave everything that you had to give, and you can at least be proud of that. That is a win.
I hope people are listening to you. Gosh, I mean, because you're making so much sense. You really are, right? Gosh. I'm getting pumped up. Control. I'm really getting pumped up. Gosh. I'm going to start reading some quotes. This one was from Hal Cohen. Do you remember Hal?
Yes.
Okay. He says, yes, I remember her very, very well. She was such a great player. And he always busts my chops a little bit about my free throws because I was a pretty good free throw shooter. He said, she's a better free throw shooter than you, Lace, but she's also a good role model for girls and high school players, including his daughter Brittany. Do you know his daughter Brittany? She's the head coach at Potsdam now. And
okay, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So him and I are pretty tight. My first show, I had Rick Carlisle and he on my show, and they were pretty neat. They didn't really talk about basketball. They just talked about having fun, sneaking in the drive-in theater and just fun times in Canton in Section 10. You guys, Section 10 is amazing. It really is. So I'm going to start reading some other ones here. You have a whole bunch, by the way.
But can I pause you for a second?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
To say a point. So,
yep.
This is where, and you just hit the nail on the head. We have Rick Carlisle, an NBA coach, one of the winningest coaches right in the world, and here he is and he is coaching currently. He got on the show and didn't talk basketball because it's not about basketball.
Yep.
Sports is about experiences in life, and we get so wrapped up on getting the scholarship, being perfect, getting the win. And if we're not perfect and we're not trying, and we're not perfect and we're not winning, and we're not playing the positions that we want to play, coach is shifting us, we will pack it up and we will quit. Sports is about the relationships. When I'm 46 years old, and you said you're going to cover all my stats. I was like, thank goodness, because I don't remember any of it.
I saw them. They're amazing.
Even going off to Duke. I can't. We won ACC championships. We were, ranked number 2 in the country. I can't tell you how many points I scored, the wins that we had. What I remember is the bus rides. What I remember is the friendships that I have for life. That's what sports gives to your kids. That's what sports gives to you. It's not about winning and losing. It's about everything in between, the life lessons that you learn, how to be resilient, how to fail, how to overcome. But we need to give ourselves permission to develop and grow in those hard moments. But I love the fact that here you have an NBA coach who's involved in basketball every single day, and yet he gets on the show and he doesn't talk basketball.
He just had a game.
Everything else that sports gave to him.
He had a game the previous day, and here he is. And,
yes, amazing, right? And so we get wrapped up in all the wrong things and focus on all the wrong things. And I really want to stress that point that sports is not about getting scholarships, being winning, playing every minute of every game. Like, just being a part of a team gives you these opportunities and these relationships and these moments in life that you can't get anywhere else. And that's what sports gives us.
Let me tell you a quick story that they told, which is kind of funny. As you know, Hal's a doctor, but he was doing his residency in Boston at the time, and Rick was playing for the Celtics. So he calls Hal up. He goes, Hal, we're short a couple players, a couple injuries. Would you mind coming over and scrimmaging with us? You got Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Dennis Johnson.
Yeah.
Hal couldn't wait to get there. So he gets there, and he gets on, he goes, I'm playing the best I've ever played in my life. I'm thinking, doctor in the morning and NBA player at night. Hal, he's a funny guy. So, all of a sudden, Red Auerbach comes out, and he calls Rick over, and he goes, Rick, and Hal's thinking they're going to sign me. So he goes, get that guy out of here before he hurts someone. So that's what happened. He had to leave. Those guys were so funny. Yep. And they told about sneaking in the movie theaters and stuff, and I got something from. Do you remember Katie Castine? She wrote something.
Yes, I know Katie Castine.
Yep. She said Missy and I were the same year in school. She definitely stood out from the top players. I was able to play AAU with her for a bit. I loved playing with her for that little snippet of time. She was a great teammate, worked hard, unselfish, and was really funny. Were you funny?
I guess so. She says I was. I hope that I was. But yes, I remember her very, very well. And again, she played on our Lakers team.
Okay.
So she played with Aaron Pratt and all of those as well. So.
Wow, and also Kate Munson is another one.
Yep.
She said, she said she played against you in 3 sports, and she pitched in softball. No, she's talking about you. You played goalie in soccer, right? I bet no one scored against you. Oh, she did maybe. I'm might be getting.
She might have. I was a midfielder most of the time. I was either a striker or center midfielder. Mainly, I guess I was towards my junior senior year. I was more of a striker in the front line.
Okay. Let's see. I got some from Kevin Walbridge and and also got to find it real quick here. Right. Do you want to talk about the Walbridges before I find it here?
Yeah, well, the one thing that comes to mind when you say Walbridge is Paul Walbridge, right? He was the WICY. Like, he came to the majority of our games. Talk about rallying a community to support a team. Paul put so much work into rallying our community, and even beyond the Malone community, really the North Country, to come and follow our teams. And I remember, he was just amazing at how much support he gave us and the following that he created for us. And we used to be called the Dream Team. And it was him that kind of, like I said, rallied the troops. And I mean, we would have games where we'd be standing room only. Wow. And, a lot of it was because of Paul and his announcing our games and just getting people fired up and excited. And but the Walbridges have done a lot for me and my family over the years, for sure. Yep.
I found it. She was the best female athlete and probably the best overall athlete, male or female, to ever don a Franklin Academy jersey. You played hockey too? With boys?
Oh my gosh. I played hockey for a while. Hockey was my first love.
Wow.
Yeah, I played hockey for many years, and then when I started to get offers from colleges, my dad said, I think we should start, just focusing on, because at the time, even hockey, I was playing with the boys. Right? I grew up playing baseball, hockey, everything was with the boys, and so I think I was in 7th grade, and that's when I really started to get looks from colleges, and Dad was like, you know what, we probably should stay focused on basketball and your 3 sports that you're playing already. But that broke my heart because I loved ice hockey. That was certainly my first love.
Gosh.
My younger brother Ben is big into hockey. He was a hockey coach for many years. My nephew is a hockey player from Malone, and so yeah, we're still very involved in hockey.
He said
down here in Tampa, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I know.
Awesome. They're so fun to watch.
He said, tell her I said hi, and he misses you very much. And I have something from your coach here. I gotta find it again. Start talking about him until I find it, okay? Coach Westcott.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you're talking, so I had Mrs. Wiggins, I had Mr. Westcott. Talk about a competitor. Mrs. Wiggins was super competitive. She was my soccer and softball coach, and she was the one that she absolutely loved to win. And I just loved her competitive fight, that she really kind of inspired us to have that competitive edge too. So she really pushed me and forced me out of my comfort zone many times. And Mr. Westcott, the one thing that he was another one that really pushed me, and he wouldn't allow me to just settle, to just go through the motions of anything. He really called me out in those moments. But the greatest thing that I love about Mr. Westcott is he was a fantastic coach. A, he pushed us. B, he was disciplined, he was structured, but he also loved on us so much. Like, he was a man that you knew that if you needed someone, he was going to be there for you. He really cared about his players and how they felt and how they, he was just that type of coach, and you wanted to play hard for him. You wanted to see him succeed as a coach because of how much he loved on his players. So both of them, Miss Wiggins and Mr. Westcott, were amazing. I'm so fortunate to have both of those coaches in my younger years of life, because they really prepped me for what lied ahead for me.
Yeah, I knew them both, and they're such great coaches and really nice people too. And here I found it here. This is Coach Westcott. Missy was the cornerstone of the Malone basketball team. She was a leader on the court and off the court. She was a great scorer, as everyone knows, but she was very unselfish and a very underrated passer. She also could play in the post and rebound. She started a tradition that lasts all 16 years that I coached a team. Example, I had team dinners before every home game, rotating. So that's doing that, Missy, it unites the team, as you know. And it's so fun having those dinners, wasn't it? And
it was. And let me, if you don't mind, I'd love to talk about my team and my teammates, because a lot of people know who I am, and like I said, the accolades and the accomplishments and all those things are great. But none of those things would have truly happened if I did not have the teammates that I had. And I want to share this just because I think it's not as common anymore, and it's such a shame. I got a lot of attention when I was in middle school and in high school, and a lot of people, really followed us. But my teammates made me love everything of what I did. My teammates made us who we were. There would be no Missy West if it wasn't for them making the good passes, bringing joy to every single practice, working hard themselves, wanting to improve and get better. I mean, we all just loved each other. And it would have been really, really easy, because society does this, really easy for them to become extremely jealous of my accomplishments, of the points that I was scoring, of the recognitions that I was getting. In the papers, it was always Missy West this, Missy West that. And I had a really hard time with that, because I knew that if it wasn't for my team, if it wasn't for those girls that supported me, that loved on me when they could have easily despised me and just had that, they didn't. They just ran with it. They just said, let's go, like, we're in this together. And to me, when I look back on my career, that's what I remember. My teammates made me feel that I was extremely special, and I hope that throughout my high school career and even now, that they feel that same love for me.
I'm sure
and
they do.
I always tried to, I don't know, it was just really, really special. And a lot of teams now, when you have, one or two kids that are a kind of stand out from the rest, there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of cliques, and it just destroys teams. And really, can we embrace everyone's talents, everyone's ability, everyone's strengths, everyone's weakness, and bring it together? This is what our coaches did really well. They brought our teams together, and we're able to build our chemistry and just love on each other. And every single person on the team had value, had meaning, had purpose, and felt loved.
Do you stay in touch with them still?
I'm not going to say all of the time, but I would say probably the majority of the time. Like, people, we just had so much support within our community. But my teammates, I'll tell you what, Missy West would not be Missy West if it wasn't for them back in those younger years.
Gosh.
Building me up, inspiring me, pushing me, and being a great teammate to me. So I have them to thank for a lot of...
That is such a humble thing to say. I love that. I really do. This is from Kevin Walbridge. There just wasn't much she could not do. A down-to-earth person and humble, like I just said, about her accomplishments. Probably as impressive as Missy West now as an adult, is a worldly motivational speaker. This comes from a kid who was probably somewhat shy. I'd ask her her opinion on that. You already explained that about being shy. But if you asked her in high school if she envisioned being a public speaker, I think you'd get a resounding no.
Yes.
Yep. And
I was, as I said, I was the kid that sat in the back of the class. And if the teacher were to call on me, I couldn't even tell them my name. I had such high anxiety, petrified. I didn't learn like everybody else. I, struggled in school. It's one of the reasons why I talk about crushing the inner critic, because the biggest critic that I ever face is myself, and the words that I used to tell myself that would hold myself back in stepping out of my comfort zone, in leaning into, hard moments. And once we can overcome that, and we can treat ourselves a little bit better and say, you know what, maybe I don't learn, like for me, maybe I don't learn like everyone else. I worked really, really hard in the classroom. I was a B student, C-B student on my good days. Just being aware, like I didn't need to be like everybody else, and that is okay. I learned my own way, and it's different from my classmate to the right and the left of me, but I got to find my way. It doesn't mean that I can't succeed. Just how I reach success is different from a lot of those other people around me. And I had to overcome the speaking. Athletics gave me opportunities to speak, and I was scared every time. And still, when I get up on stage, I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times at this point. I still get the sweaty armpits. I still get the blotches around my neck. I still have this fear of forgetting what I want to say, of thinking that maybe I don't have a good enough story. Like, I still go through all of that, but I've learned ways to shift my negative talk into something positive. And one of the things that I say to myself is, I acknowledge the fear that I'm going through in these moments of speaking, like, oh my gosh, all the anxiety, and I will just close my eyes and say, you know what, fear means it's go time. Like, fear means it's go time. Fear means it's time to show up and put my best foot forward. And what I've learned over the years and what sports has taught me is that when we are willing to do what scares us, anything is possible. Like, our potential within all of us, I don't care how talented we are in this very moment, if we are willing to do what's uncomfortable and lean into those things that scare us and do them anyway, the potential that we have inside of us, we are so unaware of what we're truly capable of doing unless we do those moments. And that's one thing that I'm really proud of who I am today, is that I use fear as a way to say it's time to show up. I use the uncomfortable as it's time for me to lean in. When I feel like I don't belong at the table, I'm going to be at the table and sit in my uncomfortableness so I can learn and grow and overcome and be a better version of myself.
Wow.
So speaking is definitely one of those moments. It's why I talk about the inner critic, because we need to be more gentle on ourselves. We need to shift our negative talk into something more positive. We need to overcome failures, and we need to lean into our fears. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but it's one of the reasons why I do the work that I do now, because I know a lot of people in this world struggle with that negative self-talk, with doing things that scares us.
Did you know, we have never met before, and when I see you, I'm going to give you the biggest, gigantic hug ever, because you are motivating me like anything right now. I am not kidding you. And I'm sure people that are listening, you are motivating them as well. Just amazing. And I love what you said when you're talking about not just basketball, you talked about swimming, other things, whatever. And I remember I have a 21-year-old daughter, believe it or not, that goes in New Paltz, and she tried basketball. And I remember the day she goes, "Dad, I don't like basketball anymore." And she thought, that I was gonna be upset. I said, "Don't even worry about it, Leah. Don't even worry." And she found her niche. She's probably in high school. She got the lead part in every single play, and even at New Paltz, where she is, she got the lead part. And you're going to be hearing about her someday. Her name's Lacey, and she's amazing. She found her niche. And, if you don't find your niche in sports, you're going to find it somewhere else, right? That's
right. And let me tell you about Leah, because I would love to be Leah, because one of the things that I've always wanted to do, I love musicals. I actually, when I was in 7th grade, I tried out it was called Swinging Sounds. And they used to sing like musicals and different things like that. But I got cut. I had to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. The teacher hit a note on the piano and said, "You need to sing it in this octave," and I did. And she basically, in her own nice, gentle way, she was like, "Yeah, miss, no."
Oh, wow.
You need to find your own thing. So I was devastated, but when you look back, it's these moments you're kind of grateful for, because it led me down a new path. And it allowed me to really focus in on sports and my passion for that. And but I love musicals, and I love, my niece Sophie is in musicals and in theater at her
Nice.
school and has been the lead, and it's just, she inspires me, to just keep showing up. So
People don't realize how tough that is as well. I mean, getting
So
up there in
hard.
front of everyone, and if you ever have a chance, Missy, she's on Instagram, Lacey, and you can hear
Okay.
some of her songs. She killed it in Beauty and the Beast. I am not kidding you. I mean,
awesome.
flat out amazing, and so proud of her. So yeah, of course I'd sneak that in. But
Yeah.
my basketball camp, by the way, went very, very well. It was a long
Fantastic.
2 weeks. We're the first and only camp that ever gave over 400 sneakers out to kids, and they got a
Wow.
leather basketball and breakfast and lunch, and they had so much fun. The last Friday was a little hectic because we were giving the sneakers out, and it was it put just having the kids get their trophies and stuff, the smiles on their faces, and I had
That's
such a
right.
great staff too. I'm not sure if you know any of them. Kaya McComb, I don't know if you ever. No, she's younger than you, but there's a lot of college girls that were on my staff that played in college, and everyone was amazing, and it really it tired me out though. I would go to sleep early and wake up and but
Basketball
gosh,
camp is no joke.
I know, and me being in charge, and it was just it has put a big smile on my face, and
It's
so
giving
but
back to a lot
Yeah.
of kids that need it, and you don't know, if this is just kind of what will catapult them forward
Yeah.
to find their passion and what they love.
find their
So
niche. Yeah.
kudos to you and the work that you do to put that camp together.
Yeah, thanks. And it's tough work, but I don't mind at all. I just love seeing the smiles on their faces, and I'm not
It's
seeking
everything.
accolades or fanfare. I remember one of my friends asked me, goes, Lace, why do you have to give stuff out for your camp? And I said, I grew up very poor and couldn't afford sneakers or camps or whatever, and he said, not everyone is poor or can, and I said, I almost named his name, but I said, well, he goes, how about the people that can afford it? And I said, those parents need a break. They're paying for hotels, for AAU, for this, for that. They could use a little break too. They're paying for a ton of stuff, and he got it. So that's why I do it, really. So, but I have fun, and maybe one of these days you can come. If you're ever in Plattsburgh, you could be one of our guest speakers. Would be great. They'd love to see you. They loved Julie Moore last year. She was
She's
just
great.
Yeah, she is.
I haven't spoke to Julie in so long, but talk about somebody that, I didn't spend a lot of time around her, but she's someone that I remember when you were around her, you wanted to be better.
Yes.
She made you better with how she played and how she showed up to every practice.
Mhm.
And that I was young. She was probably 4 or 5 years older than me. I just remember looking up to her and be like, I want to be like that. Like I want that intensity. I want that. But she was intense, but she was super kind.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Julie's a great person.
We got a pretty end. What do you have any closing remarks you'd like to just talk about before we close up? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, well, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. I know it's been a while. You've been trying to get me on the show, and I've been
Don't worry.
all over the place. So I'm happy I finally found this time to do this. And I do just want to say again, if you're listening, I will be in that Plattsburgh area September 16th through the 20th, and those are just open dates right now. I am booking for those dates. I have several schools that have been reaching out, and we're trying to get things solidified. But if you have a student or you have students that know that you heard today's radio show and you like what you heard, I'd love to have a conversation with you and see how I can come and serve you, your students, your communities, your business. and see how I can help. So that's what this is all about. For me, I do this speaking for impact. And to give back to what's been given to me. So let me know if I can help in any way. September 16th through the 20th, and my website is themissywest.com.
Okay.
And Instagram is at MissWest25, so at MISWEST25. Feel free to follow me on Instagram as well.
After we're done, tell me some of the schools that have not gotten in touch with you yet, and I will try to help you. I'll get in touch with them and have them get in touch with you. Just write down the schools on Messenger, and I'll promote you as well. I'm sure they'd love to have you. They probably just are busy with other things, as you would know. So the thing I want you to do, I want you to go to Instagram and listen to my daughter. Okay? Is that a promise?
Okay, got it.
Okay.
It's a promise. I have it written down.
Okay.
Lacey.
All right. Thank you so much. You are just flat out phenomenal. And like I said, when I do meet you, gigantic hug. And tell your wife, Colleen, that I said hello. I'd like to meet her someday, too. So you take care of yourself.
All right. Good luck in November.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, Missy.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Okay, hope everyone was listening to that outstanding show. I know a lot of you are in church right now. They will eventually be on YouTube, all the shows. So thank you so much. Happy Sunday, and have a great day, everyone, and take care.